our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The U.S. Women's Olympic basketball team taking on Nigeria in the quarterfinals in Paris. Team USA is up 31-23 in the second quarter. The U.S. men's basketball team returns to the court tomorrow in the semifinals against Serbia, who the Americans have beaten twice in the last couple of weeks by a combined 52 points. Team USA, though, not expecting things to be easy, according to coach Steve Kerr.
I think this will be their best game against us. You know, we've had 2 wins against them, but they've proven to be one of the best teams in the world. And now that they've seen us a couple of times, I'm sure they'll have some counters for us. We just have to keep doing what we're doing, which is defending at a really high level. We know that's what wins in FIBA.
American Quincy Hall won gold in the men's 400 meters. Texas Longhorns running back C.J. Baxter will miss the season with a knee injury. He was expected to be a major contributor for the team this season. NBA ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen signed a 5-year, $238 million contract renegotiation and extension.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you just how good the Jets defense needs to be if they want to compete for the AFC East. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A lot to get to today. Will Blackwell, former Tiger All-American, will be here 1 hour from right now. Ross Jackson in hour 3. Looking forward to our Saints camp report. The Saints are back on the field today, and they worked out Justin Simmons. So we'll see if the Saints add the safety. I got some thoughts on that coming up here in about 15 minutes. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Day 6, LSU fall camp. Tigers were back at it. Outside media got to view about an hour and 15 minutes of drills. We only got to see one team period today, but there was a lot of special teams. There was a lot of wide receiver, defensive back work, and a couple of personnel notes when the first defense was out there against the scout offense. So we'll delve into all of that here. Let me start with I guess let me just start with the team period. We got to see one 7-on-7 period. And some of the notables, Harold Perkins came up with a pass breakup against John Emery. Ashton Stamps came up with a pass breakup against Mason Taylor. J.K. Johnson had an interception. J.K. Johnson had an interception off of a drop. Probably should have been caught. Aaron Anderson dropped a pass that was thrown from A.J. Swan. C.J. Daniels had a really nice reception over the middle where he beat Major Burns. And then Chris Hilton had a nice reception over the middle in double coverage. So I think what my big takeaway continues to be from this fall camp is that the offense keeps making plays, but the defense is getting theirs as well. Yes, great route by C.J. Daniels to beat Major Burns. Chris Hilton had a really nice route, reception, and coverage. But similarly, Harold Perkins had a pass breakup. Ashton Stamps had a pass breakup against Mason Taylor. He had an interception. So, yes, there's been wins and losses, and that's kind of gone both ways at every level of the offense and the defense so far through 6 days of fall camp, 5 of which we've been able to see. If I was going to even extrapolate that further, right when we got into practice, they did the pass catcher DB drill. So this is wide receivers, tight ends, running backs against a defensive back. There's no line, there's no safety. It's a one-on-one out wide. The receiver's running the route. The DB does not know the route that he's running, and he's got to go cover, in space. So it's a very difficult drill for the defensive backs. And this was the drill last year where LSU's offense just absolutely annihilated the defense. Today, I charted 25 reps. The offense won 14. The defense won 11. That is way more than respectable. Kyron Lacey had a beautiful rep where he high points a ball against Ashton Stamps. Zy Alexander had an awesome pass breakup on a double move that Kyle Parker made. Javen Nicholas had a touchdown reception that would have been SportsCenter top 10 if it was in a game. I mean, it was Kylan Jackson was draped all over him, and he somehow held on to the ball through contact and through the ground. It was phenomenal. Well, Deshaun Spears had a great pass breakup against Kamorian Pimpton on the sideline where he undercut the route. Ashton Stamps had a pass breakup against Kyron Lacey. Mason Taylor caught a sideline pass against Jordan Gilbert where he dragged his foot. Every great play for one side, you saw it for another side. Chris Hilton beat Sage Ryan. The two matched up later, and Ryan got the better of Chris Hilton. It's competitive. I don't know any other way to say it. It wasn't competitive last year. It's competitive this year. They're getting better. They did have refs at practice on a Wednesday, and there were 2 holding calls, one against J.K. Johnson, one against Major Burns. And quite honestly, they missed one. Juwan Johnson hooked Trey'Dez Green's right arm as he came out of his cut, and the refs just flat missed it. But hey, if they missed it, they didn't call it. It wasn't a foul. So some encouraging things there. And as a matter of fact, we met with Joe Sloan after practice, and the question he was asked was, about what he's seen from Blake Baker's defense facing him in practice, and he gave a big long answer. But the second part of the answer was the thing that stood out to me because it was very validating of what the defense has been able to do and what we've seen so far through 6 practices.
He makes it simple for our guys. What that allows is everything that he asks them to do, they can be physical, they can be violent, they can be aggressive, they can run to the football. And I think you're seeing that, right? And you're seeing that swagger, right, start to really show. It's been fun, right? And it's challenging, right? We go out and all of a sudden, hey, we win one, right? Hey, you know what? They win one. But we're just going to stick to our process, right, and keep challenging each other and keep raising the level of play.
My guy got stuck on the word right. We need a right count there whenever Joe Sloan's doing a press conference. But it was great to hear from Joe Sloan. We'll let you hear much more throughout the show today. But a couple other things. But you heard him say it. We win one, they win one. And that's how it's been. That's how it's been with the wide receivers and the defensive backs. It's how it's been with the offensive line, the defensive line. That's just how it's been. And that's kind of what you want. A couple of other notes from practice on Wednesday. I thought it was interesting when they went to scout. So first offense against a scout defense, first defense against a scout offense. I found it notable. We all know who the starters are right now. But it was interesting that when the second team defense went out there, I noticed for the first time they had 3 true freshmen. I mean, this isn't new, but it's the first time it really just struck me. Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland, Juwan Johnson. 3 true freshmen. All defensive backs, by the way, on the second team defense. I think that is a huge illustration of the impact they're expecting the influx of talent in the secondary to have. It's not about the transfers anymore. Brian Kelly's first year, they had to go get transfers. And then they lost all those guys, and so they had to go get more transfers, and they missed on all of them last year. All of them. Zy Alexander maybe with an asterisk because he played well when he was out there. Now it's about, okay, the guys we've recruited, coach them up and let them play. And that's, you're seeing Sage Ryan, you're seeing Ashton Stamps, you're seeing, as we mentioned, Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland, Juwan Johnson. I mean, there's 3 freshmen all out there in the 2 deep right now. They're going to play. And you're going to see them. And also, for what it's worth, the third team defense is where we saw Javen Toviano and Zy Alexander. Now, I think Zy Alexander has a chance to start when he's healthy and ready. But as he's getting acclimated, again, coming back into form, coming off the knee injury, he's running third team, and same with Javen Toviano, who, of course, has got to earn his way back in after his arrest. 2 other things from Wednesday. We saw a lot of special teams. When they ran the punt unit, this is one of the things that oftentimes is indicative of a team's commitment to being great on special teams, is how many of your key players are on your special teams units. And when LSU ran their first punt team out there were 4 defensive starters. Sage Ryan, Major Burns, Greg Penn, Harold Perkins. 4 defensive starters on punt team. Whit Weeks was out there as well. And so was Paris Shand. So, guys you're going to count on were out there on defense. We're out there on the first team punt team. Peyton Todd and Blake Oxendorf continue to be inconsistent. Oxendorf's first 2 punts were beautiful. And then the next 2, you could tell they were kind of like he had 5 reps in a row. And then the 5th one, it would have been probably about a 15-yard punt. I mean, he kicked it onto the far field to the left. I mean, it just complete shankopotamus. So that, I would say, that is far from decided who's going to win the punting job. I was told by one of the I think it might have been Zach Nagy who told me this. Forgive me if I'm misquoting you, but that Damian Ramos made a 64-yarder. I didn't see that. I did see Damian Ramos make from 50, and then he slid back. It was either 3 to 5 yards. I was far. I couldn't see exactly how far they slid back, and he hit again. So it was beyond 50, somewhere in the 52 to 55 range. So Damian Ramos looks really good. Aiden Corbello's kicking out there as well. I did watch the offensive and defensive line pass rush drills again, and it was pretty even again as what we've been seeing. Will Campbell stonewalled Paris Shand. Garrett Dellinger beat Sean Washington. Really good battle with let's see, it would have been Gio Paez and DJ Chester. Good battle with Jacobian Guillory and Miles Frazier. That was a push. And then, Savion Jones beat Emory Jones. Emory Jones held on the play. But they came back and on their next rep, Emory Jones beat Savion Jones. So it's just further indicative of how you're seeing this go. I mean, about the only real steady thing, like the certainty, is Will Campbell. He never loses a rep. I don't think we really fully appreciate how dominant Will Campbell is until you just sit there and watch and realize how he never loses a rep. When I say never, I mean he never loses a rep ever. It's incredible. Nobody has a shot. But one of the things that was interesting, and I'll end on this note, Will Campbell, big freshman, Ori Williams, 6'8", 334-pounder out of Texas. Huge kid. And they have him playing left tackle. And so he was taking reps as the third left tackle, and he got whipped by Gabe Relaford. No crime there. Gabe Relaford's awesome. But Gabe Relaford had a dip and just went right around Ori Williams. They made Ori go again after that. And they matched him up against Paris Shand, and he beat Paris Shand. It was a really good comeback for Ori Williams. Well, right after that, Will Campbell walked over to Ori Williams and just kind of said something to him. It was so subtle that you would have never noticed it if you didn't see it. I just happened to be standing right there. And I don't know what he said, and I don't know if it was, hey, kick your left foot back, or hey, way to come back, kid, or whatever. But it was one of those things that was so subtle that you expect the leaders on your team to do. And there's a lot of ways you can do it, man. And some people yell and scream, and some people, pat you on the helmet or slap you on the butt or whatever it may be. Will Campbell's approach is subtle, and that was a really cool moment to see a guy that's going to be a first-round draft pick and an All-American, go up and give some just very subtle instruction to a young guy who's finding his way through his first fall camp. A really cool moment to see from Will Campbell, wearing the number 7 out there as well. So those are some observations. From day 6, Tigers are off on Thursday. They're back at it Friday. We do not have media availability. The next time we get to see the Tigers will be Saturday morning, and then after practice on Saturday morning, we'll get to chat with Blake Baker about how far along that defense is coming so far. All right, our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Love telling you about our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Just awesome people, a community partner for more than 3 decades now. I mean, you can barely ever go to a golf tournament, a church fair, some type of fundraiser event without seeing all the Mockler products, all the Bud products out there. That's because Mockler Beverage has been committed to all of our communities, not only here in Baton Rouge, but of course they got their Houma location. They expanded into Southwest Louisiana several months back when we were out there for that announcement. Love telling you about it. Great local companies. So support the people that support us. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers, Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, let me knock out a quick break. Saints were back on the practice field again today. Ross Jackson will be here in hour 3 for our Saints camp report as they're inching closer to their game against Arizona on Saturday, first preseason game. When we come back, though, Saints had a visitor, and it's a former Pro Bowl safety who Saints might just be about to add to their roster. I got some thoughts on it. We'll do it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, we're brought to you by Duplessis Builders. If you're thinking about building that pool, or maybe you have a pool already, you bought a house that had a pool that's just a little dated, needs some updating or renovating, or it's starting to fail, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. It's easy for me to sit here and sing Derek Duplessis' praises because I've seen the quality of work they do, and I've talked to him about the process. And it falls in line with everything we endorse here on AFR. I endorse premium products, and that's what Derek Duplessis builds. If you're building a pool, if you're renovating, remodeling your pool, if you need pool lighting, and all the things in your outdoor spaces, outdoor kitchens, cabanas, Duplessis is a premium product. And Derek Duplessis does not cut corners. He's told me this so many times. Expect the entire process of building your pool from scratch to take 2 months. And they'd rather walk away from a job than deliver subpar work. Learn more at DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Saints are back on the practice field out in Irvine, California, and they had a visitor. Former Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons, who spent the first 8 years of his NFL career in Denver, is a free agent. And, I mean, this is one of the, I don't want to say the worst kept secrets, but this is one that I really feel like since free agency began and the Saints didn't, or obviously parted ways with Marcus May, everyone has said the Saints should look at Justin. I mean, just Google Saints Justin Simmons, and literally anyone who writes anything or talks about the Saints has talked about Justin Simmons. It makes sense post June 1, so you're not affecting your compensatory pick formula. So all of this makes a lot of sense. It would have made sense at any point over the last 2 months if the Saints had signed Justin Simmons, but only now are they bringing him in for a workout to kind of kick the tires. And here was Dennis Allen after practice here, day 12, on the decision to bring Justin Simmons in for a look-see.
This is a guy that's been a good player in our league for a long time. He's a player that's shown an interest in us. We've got some connections with him in terms of guys on our staff that have worked with him, guys that have played with him. And so, look, I think that it's exactly what it is. It's a visit. He's coming in, and we'll talk about how we would see him, what type of vision that we would have for him. And then if what we're looking for and what he's looking for, if those things match up, then, we'll see if it goes further than that.
I mentioned that like everyone has talked about bringing in Simmons. DA was asked how long they've been having these conversations with Simmons.
Probably sometime in the spring there was a little bit of back and forth. We and he were not probably on the same page in terms of what we were willing to do or what he's looking for. I think it's just getting closer to the season. I think we're probably a little closer on both sides, and so I think that's why you bring the player in. You have a chance to sit down and visit with him and see if things work out.
Isn't it amazing how maybe this is just me, y'all, but the Saints are regarded in NFL circles as the most fiscally irresponsible team in the league, right? They're just constantly restructuring deals, kicking the can down the road, all the things that we've talked about for years here, right? We all understand that. But when the Saints decide what their number is for a player, brother, they are pot committed to that number. Like they like there is a line, and they are not going over that line, not 1 cent. And we've talked about some examples over the years. If it was Marcus Williams, if it was Mark Ingram. I mean, the Saints have watched players walk out of their organization over pennies because they just wouldn't go over whatever that dollar limit was. And so here they are with Simmons again, and you heard DA say it. We've been talking to him for a while, but This is a guy that effectively wanted more money than we were willing to pay. So, and I get that for Simmons because his last deal was a 4-year, $61 million contract that he signed with Denver. So this is a guy that's made 2 Pro Bowls, has been a starter for 8 years. He started 108 games in the NFL. He's 30 years old, former third-round pick. So after his rookie deal, he got the giant contract, a 4-year, $61 million deal from Denver, and was guaranteed 35 of it. So dude has made a good amount of money, but is trying to get that next contract. But at 30 years old, the question is, where are you? What are you willing to pay? How long of a deal? So I look at this from a couple of angles from the Saints' perspective. Number one, you sign Justin Simmons if the price is right. And my guess is what they're looking at here is a 1-year deal. Maybe a 1 year with an option for a second year, something like that. Think of the 2 biggest name defensive free agents the Saints have signed this year. Who are the 2 biggest defensive free agents the Saints have signed? Chase Young, Willie Gay. Both are on 1-year deals. 1-year kind of prove-it deals. Guys that have been starters in the NFL that would have liked a lot more security, didn't get it. 1-year deal. Prove it. Let's see how it goes. Look at Alvin Kamara right now. Kamara wants more money guaranteed. The Saints aren't willing to do it. It's just so bizarre how they can be so fiscally irresponsible in one part of their organization and so cheap and stringent and just fickle in their other. So it's just bizarre. But yes, if you have an opportunity to add a guy that's a former Pro Bowler that started 108 games and make you better at safety, you do it. It's a proven piece in the secondary, likely an affordable deal. And I think it really raises another big question of, well, are you not comfortable with Jonathan Abram and Jordan Howden and Will Harris? Are they not performing? DA was asked about this. The current safeties that are there, like the guys I just mentioned, has anyone caught his eye so far at safety?
I don't think we're set at that position opposite of Tyron. I mean, I think, we got several guys that are competing. All of them have things that they do well. All of them have things that they have to improve on. And so, I think we're just going to let that play out as the preseason plays out. And I'm not in any hurry to make a determination of, where we're at there.
That's pretty telling, right? So, I mean, think about what happened last year. So you invest the money into Marcus May, and over 2 years, Marcus May misses 17 games. He effectively misses an entire season. And last year, Tyron's there, and Tyron had a real resurgent year a season ago, was second on your team in tackles behind only DeMario Davis. And you saw a lot of Abram, who's a former first-round pick out of Mississippi State, and was a teammate of Derek Carr's with the Raiders, and Jordan Howden, who was a draft pick out of Minnesota. So you got a really good look at those 2 guys last year, and the fact that they didn't go in free agency and immediately sign a big name free agent, to me, said they're confident with those guys. And then they went and added Will Harris from Detroit, who's been a starter in the NFL as a really good depth piece. And so that kind of told me they internally knew their guys the best, and so they were good with their guys. But the fact that you now get into day 12 of training camp, you're now into your 3rd week of camp, and now you're bringing in Justin Simmons. It really tells you exactly. I mean, DA told you the answer there without fully saying it. We're not set there, meaning they're not, outside of Tyron, they're not happy with what they've seen at safety. So Justin Simmons is a no-doubter to bring in at this point if you can. By the way, maybe one downside of this is just the age. I mean, Simmons is a guy that's 30 years old right now. Not that that's super old, but you got 2 younger players. I mean, Jonathan Abram's 27, Jordan Howden's 24. So you're going here potentially for an older player over a couple of younger guys that you think could grow up, but you're feeling maybe like he makes you better immediately. And especially if you could do something on a shorter term deal, maybe that makes a little more sense. One more from DA, and there's the other part of this with Simmons that's interesting. If you're not familiar, so Saints defensive coordinator Joe Woods came from Denver, where he was a position coach and then the defensive coordinator for the Broncos. So for Simmons' first 4 years in the NFL, Joe Woods was his position coach and then his DC. So not only has he been a really good player, but there's familiarity with the player on your staff. And DA was asked about that, the familiarity on staff, if that sort of helps here with transition with Simmons.
You never know what you're getting until they actually get here. And so when you have somebody that's been in the meeting room with a player, whether it be a player or a coach, but somebody that's been in the meeting room, been on the practice field, been through the games, to where you have intimate knowledge of how the player responds in different situations, what type of teammate is he going to fit into the culture that we have here? Like, all those different things are things that you don't really know unless you have, that knowledge from being in the building. And so I think having those guys know the player and having worked with him before would make a transition easier.
I think this makes sense for so many reasons if the Saints are able to get it across the finish line, which with Justin Simmons we'll see. But I will say this. Look at where the Saints have added. As far as their quote-unquote big-ticket free agent items, I mentioned Chase Young and Willie Gay and potentially here Justin Simmons. Nothing on the offensive side. And that's maybe the big concern. Why didn't you go add a proven veteran offensive lineman? Why didn't you go add a proven wide receiver? I mean, yeah, look, Lucas Patrick may end up being a starter for you, and I'm pretty excited about him. Cedric Wilson has been a competent player in the NFL, but you didn't add any star power. You added star power and potential high ceiling star power with Chase Young and a guy that's been a Pro Bowler, Justin Simmons. You haven't done that on the offensive side, which is a little odd because I certainly would have looked at the Saints and said, where do you need to dramatically improve and supplement your team? It's on the offensive side. But here they go, looking at Justin Simmons. We'll see if they're able to get that deal done. If they do, we'll certainly talk about it here on AFR. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, 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 easy website, GeneratorPeople.com. Power goes out, as it is wont to do at times here when the weather gets bad and the storms roll in. Boom. Your Generac automatic home standby generator powers right on. After Ida, our family made the decision to have a generator installed. We just weren't going to do it. We were out of power for 7 days. And it was when I was going to L.A. to cover the LSU-UCLA game. And so I left Erica and Drew back home with no power at our house. They had to go stay at her parents' house. And that's when we made the decision never again. So we installed a Generac automatic home standby generator, and one of the best investments I could have ever imagined. Turnkey installation. You get the price quote guarantee from Optimize, meaning whatever price they quote you, that is it. No fees, no more additions, nothing. That quote is the final number. And no change orders. That is the number. And then a $600 deposit. People say, I don't know if I can afford it. You got $600? You can afford the down payment for a Generac automatic home standby generator from Optimize. And they have a financing option that'll meet any budget. It's Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. They serve the entire 1012 corridor, y'all. So it doesn't matter if you're listening in Lafayette, Lake Charles, New Orleans, Slidell, anywhere in between. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. All right, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. A big-time LSU target has made his announcement, and he is staying in the SEC, but it's not going to be with the Tigers. We'll get to that. It's a pretty devastating news for Texas, as one of their real big-time key contributors has been lost for the season. We're going to get to that as we continue here. Around the SEC next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time. Or you don't pay a dime, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I was chatting earlier today with my buddy Paul over at River City's 1 Hour Air, and he sent me some more of these 5-star Google reviews that have just come in. Here's one from Gerald Berthelot. He said, I had my routine maintenance 1 Hour Air visit with my preferred service technician today. As usual, I had an excellent experience. I've had 1 Hour as my AC maintenance source for nearly 3 years and have never received an unsatisfactory experience. As always, thanks again to Mike. You are above and beyond. You know, one of the reasons why River City's 1 Hour Air has more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor is because they go the extra mile to hire great people, continuing education for their people, all the benefits for their employees so they stay, and you have that continuity and that great customer service experience. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Go Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Rev delivers our coverage live from Las Vegas starting Friday, August 30th with Off the Bench and After Further Review, and continuing Sunday, September 1st with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Our coverage is also presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Kick off the 2024 LSU football season live from Las Vegas with Rev and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Muse, let us tie together the loose end from yesterday's show. For those that missed it, we had a reporter, Garrett Podell, on the show who covers the NFL for CBSSports.com. And Garrett was at Cowboys training camp in Oxnard when he joined us, and there was a very loud noise. Apparently, the smoke alarm was going off, or the fire alarm was going off in his hotel. So he stayed on the phone with us through all of this madness. I was like, hey, man, are you okay? He told us the whole story. He powered through it. Muse had a really good recall of a time I mentioned when John Battle came on the show while his smoke alarm was chirping, and apparently said it had been like that for months. He's just tuned it out, ignored it, which I thought was really weird, but apparently many people do that. And we went around. Muse mentioned, Paulie mentioned the Blake Baker press conference when an alarm started going off when he was talking about Harold Perkins, and we called it the BS alarm here. We joked about it a little bit. Muse remembered when we had the lead singer of Vertical Horizon on, Matt Scannell.
Yep.
This was a year and a half ago.
August 17th, 2023. So coming up on a year, actually. Yeah,
it's only been a year?
How about that? Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was way longer than that. I don't remember this, but I remember when you talked about it. So we found it. Phil, someone asked, it's like, because it was right at the end of the show. And someone's like, Scone, you left us hanging. What did you ever find? And we ran out of time. So, Muse,
I found it. You want me to just play it?
No, oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, so this was the interaction between Matt and Matt Scannell when he was on the show with us, and well, in his hotel room, this kind of happened.
What happened?
my hotel is telling me something's going on. But no, I spent most of my time just. Oh my goodness, amazing.
Wait, what happened?
Playing
Is there?
guitar.
Wait, do you have is there like an alarm going off or something?
Yeah, it's a fire alarm in my hotel.
Matt, do you need to run out of your room right now? Like, please, by all means.
It's a false alarm. No, I'm hearing it's a false alarm.
Okay.
They're saying it's a false alarm. So,
Matt, hit the fire escape, brother. Like, don't let me be accountable for Matt Scannell's demise.
I'm going to blame it all on you. I mean, I was just trying to get out of this hotel without paying for my room, so I just pulled the fire alarm.
Not bad. So anyway, good pull. Matt Scannell, Vertical Horizon. I didn't hear the alarm at all in that.
I know. That's what was crazy.
But how about the difference? Garrett Podell from CBS, the fire alarm goes off. Boom, he's out. Matt Scannell hears the fire alarm. He's just hanging out doing a radio interview in his room with the fire alarm going off.
He's a rock star, man.
That's what he is.
He's a rock star.
Just flames. I bet flames what it is. All right. It's after further review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
This is a tough blow for Texas. Is this the first time we've had a Texas story in around the SEC?
The first time you've had one. I had one filling in for you.
Okay. Running back C.J. Baxter, knee injury in practice Tuesday, season-ending surgery, tore his LCL and his PCL. Baxter was the number 30 overall recruit in the 2023 class. Was the first true freshman to start a season opener at Texas at running back since Ricky Williams back in 1995. So a really big-time prospect for the Longhorns. Was expected to play a massive role for Texas, but knee injury, C.J. Baxter done for the year.
The Florida Gators.
Another running back who's had a knee injury is Montrell Johnson, but Billy Napier said he may actually retake the field for the opener against Miami. Met with reporters. Napier did say, quote, Montrell is doing great. Quote, it was very minor. He's week to week, already on his feet and making significant progress. Of course, Montrell Johnson from New Orleans was part of Napier's team there at Lafayette, and then he's been the leading rusher there in Gainesville the past 2 seasons.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oh, is that the first Oklahoma one?
I believe it is.
Oh, wow. All right. It's bad news for the Sooners. Oklahoma wideout Jaden Gibson has suffered a knee injury. He'll undergo an MRI. Played in 22 games throughout his career with 1 start there in Norman. He's averaged 26.8 yards per reception, so a big play receiver. Oklahoma already planning on being down a man at receiver, Andrel Anthony, an injury during last year's win at Texas, didn't return, unlikely to play this season.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
4-star 2026 tight end Carson Snead has committed to Tennessee. He's out of Donaldson Christian Academy. He's a 4-star, the second commit for Josh Heupel in the class of 2026, joining the top-ranked quarterback Faison Brandon, who also pledged over this past weekend. Snead is the number 9 tight end in the country, the number 174 overall prospect.
The Missouri Tigers.
And 4-star wide receiver Javon Boggs has flipped his commitment from Missouri to UCF. Tell you what, break up the Gus bus down there in Orlando at the Bounce House. They're pulling dudes from Alabama and Missouri. Boggs is a 6-foot, 200-pounder, the number 221 overall prospect, 28th best receiver, 34th best player in Florida. He's staying there in Orlando. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Evermore. I tell you what, honest to goodness, man. This morning, being out there at LSU's practice, outside, 100-degree weather, hour and a half. That was really bad. I just hummed that thing right at Paul's monitor. I just completely missed what I was aiming at. Drink Evermore. I need to remember to bring my Evermore out to practice, put it in the back pocket or something like that. Better source of hydration. Really great opportunity to get hydrated now after having been out there at practice. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm really enjoying is how many of you are buying Evermore, taking pictures of it, tweeting it, posting it on Facebook, tagging me, texting me. It's validating that so many people are finding the product for the first time, trying it, loving it, and continuing to spread the good word. So drink Evermore. It's a rare alkaline source. It's natural artesian water. As they say, Mother Nature's masterpiece. I encourage you, when you walk into a store next time in the bottled water aisle, pull some of those popular ones off the aisle. See how it's minerals added for taste, things added or subtracted from bottled water, not Evermore. Straight from the ground into the bottle, a natural artesian water, a natural artesian source. Check it out at Evermore, evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. We will get to Taylor Calandro here shortly for a little Bourbon Dictionary. Big news on the recruiting front. 5-star wide receiver Khaleke Lockett has picked Texas. No surprise there. LSU had a hat on the table, and the Tigers continue to aim high in this class. Of course, they had DeCorian Moore committed. He flipped to Oregon. Khaleke Lockett now has picked Texas. Tigers got 5-star wide receiver Derek Meadows committed, and they're very much in the mix for Jamie French. May actually lead for Jamie French, who's, his family's from the Felicianas. His mom went to Southern, so there's still some pretty big fish, pretty big targets out there for LSU. But Khaleke Lockett picks Texas. That's not a great surprise. That was the expectation was that he was going to pick Texas. See if Texas can get him to signing day. But another big-time target off the board and staying in the SEC at the University of Texas. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro. And then Will Blackwell's here in 16 minutes, former Tiger All-American offensive lineman. I want to ask him about being a part of such a veteran offensive line like this LSU one is. Because if you remember, man, that 2011 offensive line where Will Blackwell was an All-American, nine players on that line had started SEC games. And the 10th was a 5-star freshman in Lyle Collins. They were deep and veteran and talented, and they're one of the best lines in the history of LSU football. I want to sort of compare that one to this one. We'll do that with Will Blackwell again coming up here in about 15 minutes from right now. Taylor Calandro, Bourbon Dictionary. Get your booze questions in. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
I was driving down Bluebonnet today. Boom! Big billboard right there. Bluebonnet in Burbank. Darren James. Agent225.com. Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. On the Wall Street Journal Real Trends list, the top 1% of realtors in America. Darren James, number 1 in Louisiana, number 13 in the United States of America. There were only 12 realtors in the country that closed more deals than Darren James did last year. You want yours to be next? Call Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Y'all, don't try to time the market. Let the best realtor help you get the most money for your home and to find that perfect property for you and your family next. It's Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're here. Get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Oh, my God. I just opened up the text line to look at our questions, and Bronson Bridges reminded me we didn't do hump day today. Totally missed hump day. Sorry about that. We'll bring it back around at 5 o'clock. So what's new?
We got something new from Noel Distillery in Donaldsonville. They have ready-to-drink tequila cocktails.
Okay.
We got variety packs. They have margarita, which is outstanding. It's just like a margarita on the rocks. It's one of the best canned margaritas that I've had. And then they have Satsuma and strawberry. That's really good, and a Paloma. It comes in a 4-pack variety pack, and we just got those. So I'm excited about those. I got to try them last week.
I was, there we go. I didn't realize this. I was at the Brock Rock and Wine a couple of Saturdays ago, and Noel had a station there, a booth, so I got to see Natalie and her father. And I guess they were rolling out. They told me they were about to roll out new products. I guess this is it. So, what kind of is the RTD for those who don't ready to drink? That's your canned cocktails and things like that. What is? You told me a couple of years ago, like how that market was booming. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I mean, canned cocktails and just canned things in general are the hottest segment in alcohol, and they have been for the past few years. But they're still going really strong and people are, like, more brands are coming into the market. I think the market's getting a little saturated. I think it's been saturated, and it's moved around a lot. It started with, and I know I'm going off of RTDs, but it started with seltzers, and it's kind of migrated to the liquor side instead of malt-based, which is RTDs. And, I mean, it's easy. People are lazy. They don't want to make cocktails. So, I mean, that's just where we are. It's 2024, man. And there's really good quality craft cocktails that are coming in cans, and you just pop it and put it on ice, and it's good.
What about craft beer? It's August. Are we starting to see some of like the fall beers yet, or is it too early?
Actually, I'm getting from Mockler tomorrow.
Shout out.
Getting St. Arnold Oktoberfest. So that's my first peek at Oktoberfest, and it is the beginning of August. So they come earlier every year. So, yeah, fall beers should be arriving. This is the first one, but it's usually an avalanche after the first one comes. So that should be coming in the next few weeks.
What does that mean? Like when you say an avalanche, you mean like that will all of the sort of summer fruity beers be replaced, or will be in addition to?
You'll start to see the the lighter summer beers be phased out, the summer seasonals, and the fall's coming in. Like I said, St. Arnold Oktoberfest is coming tomorrow. So usually when the first one comes, it's just a matter of time until like all the Oktoberfest and all of the beers like that are coming in.
All right, get your questions in for Taylor. Email us, tweet us at Matt Moscona, text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Joshua Abshire said, ask Taylor, hot damn or fireball? What's hot damn?
Hot damn is it's just like cinnamon schnapps. I think they're both equally terrible. They're both bad.
Is there?
There's a soft place in my heart for Fireball. I go on a golf trip every year, and it's the only time every year that I drink Fireball. So it's disgusting. I can't stand it. We sell a lot of it, though.
You still sell a lot of Fireball?
Fireball still sells, man. It's crazy. It's not like it used to be, but it's still the cinnamon whiskey. So people still drink it and shoot it and all that stuff.
Let's see. I don't know if I missed this one. Mike said, ask Taylor, what's your best old-fashioned recipe?
I like a super simple old-fashioned, just a little sugar cube with some bitters, with traditional bitters, orange bitters. Muddle that with a little orange and a lot of whiskey, and garnish it with a cherry. Just super simple.
What if? Oh, we got 30 seconds. If how do you feel about bottled simple syrup instead of muddling your own? With a sugar cube and all that.
I think it gets the same thing done. I don't like a lot of sugar. I feel like if I just use a sugar cube, and it adds a little bit of a chalkiness that I like too, because I don't fully do it all up.
I gotta go.
Anyway. All right, see you later.
See you.
Bye.
See you later.
AFR.
Hey, if you need dinner plans, Supper Club is a great option. You want to get an awesome old-fashioned? Supper Club has craft cocktails, a new craft cocktail menu as well. I've had their old-fashioned. You can get it smoked if you want. So if you're not familiar, when they'll make your old-fashioned, and they'll bring the wood topper with some of the wood chips in it, and they'll fire up the wood chips to have that smoky flavor in the glass that sort of garnishes your cocktail. It's really an awesome experience. You could do that at Supper Club, one of the many amazing experiences at Supper Club. They're going to be opening shortly, so you knock off of work, you want to go have a glass of wine or a cocktail or have dinner at the bar. Remember, open seating at the bar at Supper Club. Or you want to go have the night of your life here on a Wednesday, celebrate Hump Day, get over the hump to the rest of the week, have dinner with your wife, your husband, your significant other, whatever it may be. Maybe take a client, wow them. You could do it any night other than Sunday, Monday at Supper Club. They're back open. SupperClubBTR.com for reservations. SupperClubBTR.com.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The U.S. Women's Olympic basketball team appears well on its way to moving on to the semifinals in Paris. Team USA's up 86-61 on Nigeria in the quarters, about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. As the men's basketball team prepares for tomorrow's semifinals showdown against Serbia, Coach Steve Kerr is reminding his players they have to be prepared for their opponent's best effort, especially considering Nikola Jokic is on the other side. He has been outstanding in Paris, and we'll see a lot of Joel Embiid tomorrow, explains ESPN's Ramona Shelburne.
This is why you need Joel Embiid on this team. He has been underwhelming in these Olympics, but the last couple games, what have we been saying the whole time? Playing his way into shape. He had his best game in this last game, and this is the now against Serbia, against Jokic, the game we always want to see in the NBA, but never quite happens. Yeah. Embiid against Jokic. This is when they need him.
With Jokic on the floor, Serbia is outscoring its opponents by 43 points at the Olympics. NBA Jazz signing All-Star forward Larry Markkanen to a 5-year, $238 million contract renegotiation and extension, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you just how good the Jets defense needs to be if they want to compete for the AFC East. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ross Jackson, 1 hour from right now. Saints are back on the field. We'll get your Saints camp report. Tigers rolling along, day 6 of LSU camp. And my single biggest takeaway so far through 6 practices, 5 of which we've been able to see pieces of, is offense is still really good. The defense is punching back, if I were to oversimplify it. And part of that is a defensive line, which was much maligned a year ago. And with a lot of veteran bodies, they're competing against one of the best offensive lines that LSU's ever had. It's a good opportunity to bring our buddy Will Blackwell back onto the show. Former LSU All-American, was obviously a cornerstone of that 2011 team that obviously won the SEC and played for the national championship. Want to get some context on this team. Willie B, great to have you back, man. How are you?
Matt, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well, man. Tell me what I should make of 6 days of fall camp and today being the first day in pads.
I was reading a little bit of stuff before we decided to chat, Matt. I think Coach Kelly made a really good point in taking the time to get acclimated to the conditions and to the game, right? I feel like you've always had this approach of let's hurry up and get into camp and learn as much as we can and do as much as we can because we've got a game in a month. Hurry, 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 hurry. But there's a proper amount of time if you use it correctly. And it seems like they're building up to it. And we haven't had any injuries, a couple of little tweaks, but no big injuries, no dehydration or, people getting overexhausted coming out of camp. So I think at this point, you're just looking for no news, right?
Yeah. I referenced this earlier, Will, that 2011 team, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember this right, Will. The first 9 guys had all started games in the SEC, and the 10th was a freshman 5-star in Lyle Collins in that year in 2011. Like, y'all were deep and awesome.
Yeah, if not started, at least had, significant playing time. And, yeah, I mean, we know that makes a difference because it's almost impossible to just have five guys play an entire season.
Right. So I look at this team, and, man, you return 4 starters, and not just 4 starters, but tackles that are going to be first-round picks, and guards that are 4-year. One's a 4-year starter, another's a 5th-year player who started for 4 years. Like, it's so uncommon, but can you kind of give me some context, Will, around when you have that much experience on the offensive line, how important that is?
That's like having a quarterback and set of receivers that have been there for 2 or 3 years. It's just as important, in my opinion, Matt. And that's kind of one thing I was thinking about. Obviously, you said it earlier, we're still going to be a good offensive team. But are we going to be a good football team? And good football teams are able to run the ball when they want to. I think being able, even though we're still in the passing air raid phase, and that's not going to change, the quarterback's still the most important aspect of the game. Running the ball is still extremely crucial. I don't think that you can be a great football team without being able to do that. And to be able to do that, you have to have experience. You got to have guys that can make adjustments in game, and having guys like Campbell and Emory Jones in the end, it just makes it easier all the way through because you don't have one guy that started 20, 25 games. You got, what, 4 of them?
Yeah.
3?
4.
So, it's just it speaks a lot to the overall attitude of the team, probably to just be more calm, knowing that you don't really have to worry about those guys.
Will, Will Blackwell's our guest, do you think, speaking of the running game, and that was one of the things, I know people reference this often, Will, but when I think back to 2011, right, everyone's going to talk about that drive against Tennessee where y'all went 98 yards and never threw the ball. And it just, you're laughing, but think about how absurd that is. Like, everyone knew you were going to run the ball, and nobody could stop it. Like, that's important of having the importance of having a great offensive line and rushing offense. But that team that you were on also had a bevy of amazingly talented running backs. This year, it's a little more up in the air, right? Josh Williams is back for a 6th year. John Emery's coming off an injury. Caleb Jackson's only got 31 career rushing attempts, and then you got a true freshman in Caden Durham. Not having an established, proven back, how much does that matter this year for this offense when you think about it?
Well, I think obviously it can be a huge issue, right? If your offensive line is young and your quarterback's inexperienced and you're not sure about pass protection or certain things like that, if you're a team that likes to throw the ball out of the backfield a lot, that might be a little bit of an issue. But with an experienced offensive line, I think that is one of the few positions where you can plug somebody in that hasn't played, and if they're they're that guy and they know how to run the ball behind an offensive line like this, they're going to find the seam.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, as long as, of course, we got Josh for pass protection. As long as we don't become predictable and let Caleb get some carries, I expect some improvement out of him.
What's your Will Blackwell's with his former LSU All-American, of course, part of that 2011 team. When you watch this offensive line, well, you obviously got to see him last year, and 4 of the 5 starters are back. Like, what's your opinion of them when you watch them? Like, what impresses you?
Well, it's kind of like I said earlier, Matt, no news is good news. I think being able to watch the game just like anybody else, I don't particularly watch the offensive line unless something goes wrong or they kind of bring it up. I'm usually just kind of watching the ball. So I feel like the further I get into the game, and I hadn't sat there and said, golly, we've given up so many pressures, or we can't run the ball. If I'm not looking at things like that, then we're doing a good job, which that's probably the saddest part about offensive line is all the hard, important work these guys do and how little TV time they
get. You know what, though, man? I'll tell you guys getting tons of prep or press is Will Campbell. And, man, I was going through my practice report earlier today, and I'm sure you all did this drill. Now, Les never let us watch practice, so I don't know. But it was basically a pass rush drill where it's one-on-ones, but the entire line is lined up and only one guy goes at a time, right? It's basically to confine you into space. Well, I mean this like sincerely. I don't believe I have ever seen Will Campbell lose a rep, like ever, which is I'm not saying he never has.
I'm surprised they still make him go, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what's funny? So yesterday he did every group, first, second, third team, all did 3 rounds. He did the first one, and then he didn't do the next two. It's funny you said that.
Yeah. And look, man, it's kind of crazy because I'm sure you guys are sitting there every day like, how do we not talk about Will Campbell? There's got to be something else we can talk about just because he is such a big presence on the team, right? I mean, he's been a 5-star. He's always been touted and deservedly so. He's played lights out. It's kind of hard to look past a guy like that. So I'm sure it's tough, but man, he deserves every bit of credit. And if he truly is the leader that Brian Kelly and everyone says that he is, then I really look for them to have a strong season.
Hey, you know what? I shared this too, Will. So Ori Williams, who's a freshman left tackle, went one of those reps and got beaten pretty badly by Gabe Relaford, who's going to be awesome, by the way. But they made him go again, like just made him get up and go again. He went against Paris Shand, and he got a win. He like stonewalled Paris Shand. And they kept going on down the line, and Will Campbell just sort of very subtly like walked up to Ori Williams and just said something to him. I was close, so I saw it. Like you wouldn't have noticed if you weren't watching. It just happened right in front of me. And I don't know what he said, but it was so subtle and just sort of the way that he would do that, right? I mean, I would imagine, like, as a veteran, that would have to be an opportunity, like you would think, that's just a veteran giving a moment to a young guy that would matter to a young guy, right?
Well, yeah, and, part of being a good leader and cementing yourself in that role is understanding that, yeah, you're competing against the guy behind you and all that, but you never know when that guy's going to have to show up and play right guard or right tackle, or Emory gets hurt, you got to go play. You never know what can happen over the course of 12, 13, 14 games. So I think that shows maturity, like you said, and will to be able to encourage and bring other guys along, because that is depth is the biggest question mark that we have at this position.
You know, it's funny, man. I just noticed, like, the picture we have of you on the screen is probably, like, your headshot from the program back in 11. That's probably...
I don't want to see it.
That's an old photo, dude. It's better than your glamour shot All-American picture. But you've got an All-American picture, which is pretty cool. I'll pull it up for those who haven't seen it. Hey, last thing. What do you think... realistically, how much better realistically can the defensive line be this year?
I don't know, Matt. That's a really good question. I mean, how much worse can they be realistically?
Right.
I mean, everybody knows that the linebacker play was not very good for us last year, and it is probably arguably the most important part of defensive play, and for Perkins and those guys to be able to make the plays that they can make. Defensive linemen got to keep them clean. A couple of the reports I've seen, guys have been coming along. There's still some question marks. A lot of young guys in the mix. But defensive line is another one of those positions where if you have a young guy that's hungry enough, you never know what week you can just turn it on and it'll click. Yeah. All it takes is a little bit of disruption up front to make the offense uncomfortable. So I think at least having Bo at the helm will probably be in the right spot.
Did you like having so both Brad Davis and Bo Davis, the two line coaches, they are loud and let's say NSFW language heavy.
Boisterous.
Boisterous? Did you like that from a coach, or did you want someone a little more subtle?
Man. I mean, I tell people all the time. Every once in a while I'll get called the wrong name or whatever. Somebody will misspeak, and I'll say, "Look, you can call me whatever you want. I played high school football for my grandfather, so he has a tremendous reputation around the state. So I'm not here to step on that, but
of course,
yeah, obviously, I was one of those guys that liked to be motivated, and the motivation was, hey, you whatever, you can't do this, or you do this like A." And that's what got me fired up. Coach Stud, when I was at LSU, he was a lot like that.
Yeah.
Of course, Miles could get fiery at times, but yeah, man, I think the older I get, the easier it is to say from afar. But it's more of a player by player kind of thing, and that's what makes the better coaches. You got to know which kid you can push and cuss, and which kid you got to say, "Hey, man, come here, let's go talk over here." And obviously, guys like Brad and Bo wouldn't be at a place like LSU if they didn't understand the intricacies of that.
Great point, man. LSU is in good hands on both lines of scrimmage.
I agree.
Will Blackwell, former Tiger All-American. Always great to catch up, man. Hope you and the fam are great. Hope to see y'all soon.
Same to you, brother. I'll see you this fall.
All right. Be well. That's Will Blackwell. It's After Further Review. Hump Day shows brought to you by Pluckers. Let me knock out a quick break. If you want to react to that, you can. Also, really interesting piece today, ranking the quarterback situations in the SEC. Not the quarterbacks, but the entire situation around the quarterback. I think you're going to find this interesting. That's next at AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Boy, we've hit hump day. You don't feel like cooking tonight, do you? Walk into Rouse's. Any Rouse's near you. Pull into Rouse's, go in the front door. Go to the left, you'll see all their ready-made food items. Man, you want grab-and-go sushi? They got it. You want grab-and-go Asian bowls? They got it. You want grab-and-go hot and boiled seafood? They got it. Maybe you want to go over to the seafood market and grab something to throw on the grill, a nice, beautiful piece of fish on the half shell, a steak, and get that all at Rouse's. And, of course, you're making groceries or it's time for back to school. You need healthy options to put in the kiddos' lunchbox when you send them off to school on the school bus this year. Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, with 70-some-odd locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, points in between, one of the newest locations, just a hop, skip, and a jump from us here where our studios are over on Florida Boulevard in Baton Rouge, not far from here. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, since we had Taylor last hour, Muse will get the Olympic update here in about 10 minutes from right now. Muse, are we still whipping everybody's behind? Just give me a sneak peek.
Yeah, they are dominating again today.
That's what I love to hear. Let's whip everybody's behinds. Whip some foreigners behind. Go, USA! Is today the last day of the Olympics?
No, this is day 12 out of 16.
Forever,
it's long.
Gosh, this thing goes on. Like, what else do they still have to do?
A lot of track and field. They got to finish the basketball tournaments.
My goodness gracious. Like, the Greco-Roman. I saw there was last night, we had some friends over, and there was like climbing.
Rock climbing. I saw that.
Like,
but not actual rock climbing.
No,
like
not on rocks. Like if you go to one of those, like kid jump play zones where kids can climb up rock walls. Like, that's an Olympic sport now?
Apparently.
What are we doing?
They do it pretty fast.
Yeah, they do. But why is that an Olympic sport? What are we doing? Put that in the X Games. Hey, injury reports are going to be mandated in the SEC this year. CBS Sports had this report earlier today. Alex Scarborough, who Alex was at ESPN for a while. He's at CBS now. But the SEC is moving toward mandatory injury reports for the coming fall. Apparently it was discussed at the spring meeting, something we had talked about. Final decision is expected soon. I think the Big Ten did this last year, by the way. But I think this is a good thing, especially with sports betting now. And I know not everybody thinks in terms of sports betting and sees the games in sports you love through that prism. But anything you can do to eliminate even the perception, the thought of any improprieties, of anything like that surrounding sports betting, like could you be hiding an injury that may – I mean, just think about – here's the case in point. Think about what happened last year with LSU and Alabama in baseball when the Bama coach – was it Bohannon, the baseball coach, who, tipped off his buddy that they were scratching Luke Holman so he could place the bet. You all remember the story. Well, if you had an injury report – now it was baseball – but if you had an injury report, then that wouldn't be a surprise to anybody because you'd have been trending in that direction. So, I think Brian Kelly, ever since he's been at LSU, has been pretty out front about injuries. I mean, he told us yesterday just candidly about Xavier Thomas. And I remember last year before the season, Brian Kelly was asked about this with injuries in sports betting, and he sort of endorsed an injury report because of that, like getting out in front of it. It's not a bad thing. I mean, the NFL's done it for years with a mandated injury report, and that league seems to be doing just fine. Does it hurt coaches that want to keep things extremely close to the vest? Yeah, but how much of an advantage does it really give you holding it close to your vest if a guy on your team has a turned ankle or a tweaked hamstring? It doesn't. So, anyway, we'll look for that to see how that when that might become finalized. But Alex Scarborough over at CBS reporting that seems imminent. Okay, I want to get to another piece, incidentally, over at CBS today that if you're an LSU fan, you're going to love. I'm going to get to this in a second. It's about the quarterback situation. You're going to love this, and I actually agree. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. I was on a Facebook earlier today and saw this post from Michelli. And I always encourage you, of course, to follow all of our sponsors on social media. You get so many updates on what they do. But it was a great post about dimension equipment. And I don't need to go like too super deep dive onto this because you may not know about dimension equipment or care. But if you're someone who deals with this, you understand why it's so important. If it's things like calipers or micrometers, height gauges, coordinate measuring machines, laser scanners, profile projectors. The reason I bring this up is because so many people don't even know exactly what Michelli does until you go to the website and see all the things that they do. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Start at Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You can hit the services tab, and you can see all the things that they do over at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. It's Michelli.com, Michelli.com. CBS Sports put out a list, and I know it's feigned indignance over random summertime list sort of thing. I'm not going to yell and scream about this because I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I thought it was an interesting illustration. The way they looked at it was the top 12 setups entering the quarterback setups entering the college football season. So effectively, not who has the best quarterback, not who has the best quarterback room, like Texas has Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, right? But who has the best quarterback setup, meaning the quarterback, offensive line, receivers, everything around the quarterback. And the number one team on this list is Ohio State. And that's probably not a giant surprise. Ohio State has Will Howard coming in from Kansas State. And I'm not super high on Will Howard, but they've also got Devin Brown and former five-star Julian Sayin. But look at everything else that they've got at the receiver position with Emeka Egbuka, Quinshon Judkins coming in at running back, Travion Henderson there as well, Jeremiah Smith, and a really good offensive line led by Donovan Jackson. So not surprised there. Number two, they have as Oregon, and that's okay as well. I mean, Dylan Gabriel is the preseason Heisman favorite. So Gabriel with all the playmakers around there, Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart going in from Texas A&M, Terrence Ferguson. They got a couple of really highly regarded offensive linemen that are likely to be high draft picks. So Ohio State 1, Oregon 2. What if I told you that the number 3 team on the list was your Fighting Tigers of LSU? Garrett Nussmeier under center is part of it. And yeah, you're replacing Jaden Daniels. But think about everything else there. Kyron Lacey, who is a no doubt number 1 receiver. C.J. Daniels, who we learned today is on the Biletnikoff watch list, and Kyron Lacey wasn't. What? Mason Taylor, who ESPN's draft analysts are projecting as potentially the best tight end in this year's draft. And oh, by the way, 2 offensive linemen that are projected first-round draft picks, 4 returning starters. The other 2 starters, one of them is a senior who started for 4 years. The other is Miles Frazier, who's a 5th-year player who's also been a 4-year starter. Like, yeah, everything around Garrett Nussmeier makes that super intriguing and gives you tons of confidence that the offense has a chance to be great. Miami 4, Ole Miss 5, ahead of Texas at 6, NC State 7, Georgia way down there at 8, Missouri at 9, Oklahoma at 10, Central Florida, Gus Bus, 11, SMU 12. You know who wasn't on that list? You know who was conspicuously absent from that list? You know which team over the last 17 years would have been on that list or at the top of that list every stinking time? You know who it is. And I ain't going to do the Bama's burning thing. I'm just pointing out. You can say whatever you want about Jalen Milroe. I'm not high on Jalen Milroe. Maybe you are. But understand, Jalen Milroe is back. Alabama loses its top 3 pass catchers of a year ago. 2 of them are now at Texas, by the way. From a passing offense that wasn't great. And the offensive line is pretty much regarded as maybe the least offensive line that Alabama's had there since Nick Saban showed up. So you lose your top 3 pass catchers, and you got a bad offensive line. And a quarterback that I'm not super high on. Yeah. Alabama is going to regress. You know, I'm not sitting here saying it. I'm not screaming about them losing commitments or here is a national publication looking at the top 12 quarterback setups entering this season, and Alabama ain't on it. But Ole Miss and Missouri, LSU's number 3. Oklahoma's on it. UCF and SMU are on it. Not Alabama. Y'all don't need to have me yell about it. Hear it. Y'all going to keep hearing about it over and over again. I'm telling you, the regression is coming. All right, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Kill mold, remove odor, patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. It's Parish Restoration. Been telling you about him for years. Jim Woodworth in the game. Jim's awesome, man. He's an Air Force veteran. Great dude. Been in disaster recovery for decades. Helped post 9/11 disaster recovery in Manhattan. Made his way down to the South, or I should say back to the South. But in 2000, it was with the BP oil spill. Forgive me, I forget the year exactly. But with the BP oil spill, and started now Parish Restoration after merging with Tilly and Terrio and those guys over at Parish. So if you got mold in your home, think you might, or your office building, or any type of commercial space, Parish can help. You want to get rid of odor from sweat or smoke or pets, any type of that? Parish can help. Parish Restoration. Go to ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Hit the Restoration tab. It's Parish Restoration, ParishBuilt.com. Okay, glad you're aboard with us here. Ross Jackson in 29 minutes. If you missed it earlier in the show, we did talk at length about the Saints welcoming in Justin Simmons. So former Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons, been 8 years with the Broncos. It's a free agent. A lot of people thought the Saints would bring him in earlier in free agency. But Dennis Allen effectively said, yeah, man, we were pretty far apart on what he wanted and what we were willing to dish out. He was remained unsigned. So getting closer to the season, he was willing to re-engage in those conversations. So we'll see if the Saints can get that deal done with Justin Simmons and bring him in into that defense. So we'll ask Ross Jackson his thoughts on that about 30 minutes from right now. We get to our Saints camp report. And I also want to circle back to a lot of what Joe Sloan had to say. We did get to hear from the LSU offensive coordinator after practice today. He talked a ton about the tight end room, losing Mac Markway, the receivers, what he's seen from that offensive line. So we'll get much more into what Joe Sloan had to say in the next hour as well. We're glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Y'all, we're getting closer to college football season. Those football Saturdays are coming. Got friends or family coming in from out of town. You can always encourage them to stay at the Watermark downtown, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Don't even need to listen to me say it. You said it. The best of 225. The Watermark was voted the best hotel in Baton Rouge and the best of 225 awards. Baton Rouge's premier hotel property, just minutes from Tiger Stadium and LSU's campus in downtown Baton Rouge. And by the way, the Tigers are staying at the Renaissance on Fridays before home games. So if you haven't experienced the Renaissance yet, understand what I say. You ever want to host an event at the Renaissance? There's no place better. From a dozen people up to 500. If the Renaissance can host the entire LSU football program the night before a game, they can host your event as well. It's the Watermark downtown and the Renaissance Southtown on Bluebonnet. The Watermark and the Renaissance hotels.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I know it's the NBA offseason as we're getting ready for college football and the NFL. Not everybody is super locked into what the Pels are doing, but this was really significant news today. The Times-Picayune report is reporting that the Pelicans are doing away with their deal with Bally Sports, and they're going to partner with a local TV station and Gray Media. You might remember last year on a trial basis, I'll tell you why this is significant in a second, but on a trial basis, there were a handful of games on local affiliates, over-the-air affiliates, meaning you didn't need cable. So many people having cut the cord weren't able to watch the games on Bally. So, like, my family, my wife still has a landline. Her decision, not mine. Now, look, you pick your battles. Like $7 a month. You want it, sweetie, you can have a landline. I make fun of her endlessly for it, but we're the ones. Like, we're the last family that, like, that's us. The one that does a landline, it's us. But we have cable as well, and so we could watch the Pels on Bally. But the problem is with so many cord cutters, and especially with the NBA skewing younger, and cord cutting, when you look at demographics, is skewing younger. The primary audience for the NBA couldn't watch the damn team. So you went from the deal with CST for so many years to Bally taking over the deal, and the team trying to grow its foothold and trying to continue to develop and set the hook with an audience and expand, not only from New Orleans and the state, but regionally, like the Saints have. And people couldn't see the games. Like you were intentionally blocking your audience, your audience that was an eager audience wanting to watch your games, so being able to consume you. So this is a great deal. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the financial terms of this are going to be. This report says Diamond Sports, which is in the midst of bankruptcy proceedings, offered the Pelicans a new deal that was more lucrative than the previous deal had been, but the Pelicans notified a lot of the players involved that they were still choosing Gray, despite Diamond's offer being 20% higher. I think it's one of those deals where, man, from the Pelicans' perspective, you're probably taking a loss on the front end by not taking the richer financial deal, but long-term, this is going to benefit your organization because more people are going to be able to see you. You're going to grow your fan base, and as a result, have a residual effect from the interest of people watching you, which might lead to sponsorships on that deal with Gray, and then people buying merch and tickets and all the sort of stuff that goes along with growing your brand. Instead of taking the higher deal on the front end, the more lucrative deal on the front end, that probably is going to end poorly and just create more disdain and a wedge between you and your fans. You're saying, we'll take less on the front end because we think this is going to grow a deeper connection with our audience. That's ultimately going to be a rising tide effect. I applaud the Pels. I think it's a great decision, and it's going to allow more people to see the games, and it's going to allow so much more positive press and publicity around the Pelicans because of this decision. So I salute them. Not an easy thing to do, because the easy thing to do is take the biggest bag. But I think this was a big picture vision and decision by the Pelicans, so I salute them for it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShopBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Driving around on those tires that looking a little threadbare, might be time for new tires. Of course, you want the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. That's Shaw Bills. Cheaper than other tire stores, cheaper than the membership clubs, cheaper than the big box stores. Shaw Bills has done this for more than 50 years, nearly 60 years now. They pair their in-house offer with manufacturer's offer to get you the best price possible on the best tires on the road. It's Shaw Bills. So go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, where, of course, they always treat you like family as well, because for nearly 60 years, Shaw Bills has been family-owned and operated. They treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, Muse, we missed an hour one, so let's circle back to it here. The Olympics are rolling on. This thing's been going on forever now, but hopefully the U.S. of A. still whipping up on foreigners left and right. That's USA! Right. Go, USA! Muse, I'm watching Greco-Roman wrestling here.
How about that?
That's Armenia,
like that?
I think, in Iran. Oh, like the Iron Sheik. Or maybe that's Iraq. What is IRI? That's got to be Iran. IRI?
Yeah,
is that Iraq or is that Iran?
That's the Iranian flag. That's Iran.
That's Iran.
It's Iran.
Shout out to the Iron Sheik. Rip.
Yeah.
Rip to the Iron Sheik.
Rip to the Iron Sheik.
Rip to the Iron Sheik. Camel clutch.
There you go.
On the Hulk Hogan.
On the Hulk. Can't talk about the rest of the things he said about the Hulk Hogan.
No, can't say any of those things. Not on radio anyway.
Not on radio.
Not on radio.
No.
All right, Muse, tell me about how much behind we're whipping.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was another good day. Day 12 wrapping up over there in Paris. Got started early with weightlifting, Matt. Hampton Morris took the bronze in the 61-kilogram category of weightlifting. Significance of that, first men's weightlifting medal since 1984.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he made a little bit of history. How about that? Shout out to Hampton.
So there's a lot of guys who trained under Gail Hatch here in Baton Rouge that were American lifters. And one of them who's actually the now the strength coach at Catholic, who I went to school with, is Matt Bruce. And I think, but for an injury, like Matt was supposed to be like an Olympian and had a good chance. That's why it surprises me, because there's a lot of guys that were in that pipeline to be Olympians that they thought would medal. But anyway, so 91st Olympic weightlifting.
1984. How about that? Men's.
Yes,
Qualified. Men's.
God,
Men's.
Great,
Qualified.
awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. Great,
Tom Schar, silver medal in men's park skateboarding. Significance.
That'd be Tom.
It was his Olympic debut. Shout out to that guy.
It should be an X Games
I
thing,
agree.
not an Olympic thing. But still, we whipped some foreigners. Let's go. Grow
Team
that medal
event,
count.
gold medal in track cycling. That's the women's team pursuit. That's a gold. Shout
Okay.
out.
Gold.
Yep, that's what we like to see.
Go!
Go, USA!
Love it, so good.
Another team medal, artistic swimming, which I think actually used to have a different name, but now it's called
Is that
artistic
the
swimming.
synchronized swimming?
Yeah, that's
Yep,
what I used to
synchronized
always
swimming,
call
yep.
it, right?
Yep.
Silver medal, best finish there since 1996.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? Quincy Hall, gold medal, men's 400 meters.
I might say something a little inappropriate. Paulie, can you go back to the swimming picture? For all the people that complain about what the beach volleyball women wear, would you look at this? Like, they got to be a little more conscious of this photo. Like, you're all probably seeing what I'm seeing. Like, that's a little revealing.
It's there.
Like, then you need to not. I mean, it's there, but like, you could have chosen any photo. You don't need that. And by the way,
shot of him in the pool.
yeah, I'm not going to describe the photo. The point is, you can go to. Is that at the U.S. Olympic
Team USA?
At Team USA, you'll see it, and you'll see exactly what. First time I'm seeing it, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
It's hard to miss.
I mean, it's full moon out there. Maybe it's a 3/4 moon. Let's say that. It's a 3/4 moon out there.
3/4. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Quincy Hall won the gold medal in the men's 400 meter. Came from behind to win the race by 0.04 of a second.
Yeah!
Go, USA!
Yeah!
Keeping with track and field, Katie Moon takes the silver medal in the pole vault, her second Olympic medal in her career.
An American pole vault.
An American pole vaulter.
Awesome. Congrats to the American pole vault.
Won silver, just like the
Who's
men's
competing
American
for the United States of
pole
America.
vaulter did.
Yeah, just like the men's American pole vault.
Both silver. Sarah Hildebrandt takes the gold medal in women's freestyle wrestling, 50-kilogram category there. Or weight class, I should say. And Kenneth Rooks, silver medal in the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase.
I don't even know what that is.
It's pretty intense.
That's the race where you run into water.
And the obstacles and everything. Yeah.
That is so stupid. What a dumb event.
It's out there, man.
It's a dumb event, but I'm so glad that we won it. What's his name?
Kenneth Rooks.
That'll be Ken.
And
Kenny, baby!
Lastly, the U.S. men's water polo team comes back in overtime. They advance. And unfortunately, the men's beach volleyball team, Partain and Benesh, they are out. Your overall medal count to wrap things up, the United States sitting at 94, 27 golds. Both of those lead the Olympics.
Okay. 94 medals?
94.
27. Do we have a medal count graphic, Paulie? It's not. If not, it's okay if we don't have an updated medal count graphic. Does what's that Twitter account again?
At Team USA, but I don't know if they've posted their medal count graphic yet.
Why not?
I don't know.
I'd be posting that stuff.
Normally they do it at like the very end of the day.
I'd be updating that stuff every single minute of the day. Okay, that's awesome. So U.S. is overall medal count and gold medal count. We're leading.
Yep.
How much are we whipping China by in the gold medals?
2 medals. China's still got the diving, man. They're dominating the diving.
Right? But we got basketball. Men's and women should both win, right?
Yeah.
Women's are going to win for sure. Men should win.
They beat Nigeria today, so they advance. Noah Lyles still has another race. There's some more golds out there.
What else are we a lock for?
Obviously basketball. I would have told you beach volleyball, but everybody's losing.
By the way, Quincy Hall, shout out, Gamecock from the SEC.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
There it is. All right, it's after further review. Go USA. I'm not the hugest Olympic guy in the world, you know that, but when it comes to the U.S. whipping foreigners, I'm here for it, no matter what it is. If it's steeplechase, or what's the skateboarding thing that we did? What was it?
Men's park skateboarding.
I'm with it. Let's go get them all. Let's get all the medals and embarrass the rest of the world. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Tigers in the pros coming up next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Got an email earlier today from my buddy Chuck Montero over at Action Industries, and I love whenever he sends these along to me because it's so validating of what they do. One of the largest plastic manufacturers in the world sent this glowing review, and it's or testimonial, I should say, and sent it to effectively the whole Action staff about the amazing work they did on various foundations through this plan. I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but not only the work they did, that their knowledge on the entire product, the entire process, and also the safe work practices that the civil crews demonstrated while working with carpentry, building, wrecking forms, tying the rebar, navigating themselves on the rebar as they use the pump truck, PPE on point. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. They're the best. It's Action Industries.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Okay, I need a ruling on this. I need feedback. French athlete Alice Finot broke the European record in women's 3,000-meter walking, and then after the race, she goes up to her boyfriend and proposes to him. I need some feedback on this. I need a ruling. This is one of the more incredible things that I can imagine. First of all, she's an Olympic champion. She's really hot, too. Why is she having to propose to him? Like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, isn't that the question we should ask?
Yeah. I mean, this is a no for me.
Like bro, good on her for being assertive and getting what you want and all, but, bro, what are you doing? Like, what actually are you doing in this situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he says yes. Like, Why weren't you why is she feeling like she has to be the one to be assertive? I need a ruling here. I need feedback, guys. How do we feel about I'm good with her.
Is that a ring?
Great.
Did she have a ring?
I think it was like a lapel pin. Because she pins it on
yeah,
it.
okay.
But like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You think she just got tired of waiting? Like, you think it could be that?
Yes!
You think
Yeah,
that's
of
what it
course!
is?
Yes!
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe she's just really assertive.
Man, I got to hear more of that story. All right, Muse, Tigers in the pros. Hit it.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Some updates from Major League Baseball. Started with Jake Fraley last night. Turned into 1-for-4 effort. Did come around to score a run. Also drew a walk in the ballgame. The Reds, they got the victory. Astros and Rangers. That series wrapped up today. Let's take both games, do them in order. Last night, the Astros got the dub 4-2. Alex Bregman figured in heavily into that one. 2 for 5 with a run scored and a double, his 22nd of the year. Followed that up today with another 2 for 5 performance with an RBI. It was a clutch RBI late in the ball game that extended the lead from 5-3 to 6-3. I believe that was in the 8th inning. Both the hits were singles. He did come around to score 4 hits in the final 2 games for Bregman. Unfortunately, Josh Smith fell on some tough times at the plate. Did wear the collar in both of those games. Minor league action. To note for you, Hunter Fiducia back down to AAA. It was a short stay in the major leagues, but he's back with the Oklahoma City Baseball Club. Went 1 for 2 in their game last night with an RBI and a run scored.
He was up because of Freddie Freeman, right?
Yes, correct.
He was up. The situation with the sun, right? Okay.
Correct. And Trey Morgan, 2 for 4, his 14th double of the year and an RBI. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a vehicle, new or certified pre-owned, make sure you add Volkswagen to your list. The great German engineering without the cost and manufactured right here in the US of A at their Tennessee plant in Chattanooga. Just test drive one. If you've never driven a Volkswagen, experience the style, the feel, the performance of luxury at Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Summer sales event still going on right now. 2.9% for 60 months on 2024 Jetta and other models as well. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, we're coming back. We're heading out to Irvine, California. Our buddy Ross Jackson is there at Saints Training Camp. We'll get you a camp report from Ross next on AFR.
AFR.
It is 97 degrees right now. Do you know how hard your AC has to work to keep your home cool when it's 97 degrees outside? Well, when you have leaky windows and doors, your AC has to work that much harder. And it costs you money. When that cool air is leaking out of your home or that hot air is getting in, your AC has to work harder, meaning you're paying more. Your energy bills are going up, 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 up. Make your home more energy efficient with energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. They have impact-resistant options. Every single window is measured twice to installed once, so it's custom-made exactly for your home. It's Relief Windows. And while they have amazing products, windows, doors, siding, indoor shutters as well, as Brandon Holly always says, their number one product is customer satisfaction. They never take $1 until they're done and you're thrilled. It's online, reliefwindows.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we, as farmers, strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A 59 straight win for the U.S. women's basketball team. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block for Asia Wilson. Team USA defeated Nigeria 88-74 and will face Australia in the semifinals at the Paris Olympics on Friday. The U.S. men's basketball team returns to the court tomorrow for the semis against Serbia, who the Americans have beaten twice in the last couple of weeks by a combined 52 points. Team USA, though, not expecting things to be easy, according to Coach Steve Kerr.
I think this will be their best game against us. You know, we've had 2 wins against them, but they've proven to be one of the best teams in the world. And now that they've seen us a couple of times, I'm sure they'll have some counters for us. We just have to keep doing what we're doing, which is defending at a really high level. We know that's what wins in FIBA.
Coach Steve Kerr. American Sarah Ann Hildebrand won gold in the 50-kilogram wrestling final. Tennis, Rafael Nadal withdrew from the U.S. Open. Injuries have limited his number of matches over the last 2 seasons.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Joe Sloan met with reporters after LSU practice today. Some of what the OC had to say in about 15 minutes from right now. Saints are back on the practice field. Means we get to check in with Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints, and LouisianaSports.net. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy, doing great. Glad to be here.
Hey, let's get to the news with Justin Simmons. By the way, first, any update there with Simmons? What do we know?
So we know that the visit is this afternoon. So it is either ongoing at this moment or is coming up soon, depending upon exactly when his arrival time was. We asked Dennis Allen a little bit about it. He said that he feels that the safety position isn't a position that they felt that they need to go and run to address. But when there's a player as talented as Justin Simmons left on the field or left on the street, you go and try to sign that guy. He mentioned that there was some earlier connection with him in the spring. He wasn't able to completely pinpoint it, but he believed it was after the draft, where it was financials and things like that that kind of kept them apart. Apparently, whatever has changed, they're closer now in terms of what those numbers might look like. So that is what has kind of brought upon this visit. And from what I would take from it, just putting two and two together, the Saints are not desperate to add to the safety room. Justin Simmons is looking for a gig. Now they're closer on the numbers. I imagine this means that Justin Simmons' asking price may have come down.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. What though do we make of the current safety situation where Dennis Allen today said outside of Tyrann Mathieu, they're not settled there. So does that mean they're not as high right now on Jonathan Abram, Jordan Howden, Will Harris? What do we make of the guys outside of Tyrann that are there right now, Ross?
Yeah, I think that they like the guys that they have. It's just that the position battle is still ongoing at this time. And so when you have a position battle that's still ongoing, Jonathan Abram, Jordan Howden, in particular, those two guys, when it comes to who's lining up next to Tyrann Mathieu, you're always going to look for other options that might be able to come in and be a part of that competition as well. Now, we should make no mistake about it. If Justin Simmons is signed, there's no conversation around competition anymore. Justin Simmons is your starter next to Tyrann Mathieu, and then you figure out how to maximize both of those guys. So that's where things maybe change. But I don't think that the Saints are in a situation where they're disappointed with what they have at safety. But I think that they are always looking to, and I think we've seen this in the secondary in particular with this team for years, Norris Jenkins, Paulson Adebo, Alante Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry. They're always looking to add talent even when they have talent. I think this is just another example of that.
Okay. That would be, look, I think we'd all agree wholeheartedly. You make your team better, you get a guy like that. And Ross, I would think this would probably be something like a one-year deal like with Chase Young and Willie Gay. I can't imagine this would be any type of a long-term thing. So come on and prove it. I love it. The unofficial depth chart was released yesterday. Since you and I didn't have a chance to talk, two things stood out to me, so I'd love your take. Haener over Rattler at number 2 QB, and then Lucas Patrick as the first left guard. Either of those things stand out for one reason or another to you?
Yeah, I think that the Haener thing is probably a little bit more of the seniority conversation. That's sort of what we have seen them do throughout the time when you look at who got the first set of second-team reps from OTAs and training camp and all of this stuff. Jake Haener was always the first one to get that, which makes sense. He's been in the system before, or not been in the system before, but he has been with the team longer. So typically the Saints will kind of lean towards seniority. The funny thing, though, is that then flies in the face of the Lucas Patrick situation that you're asking about. We also saw it with Jordan Howden listed ahead of Jonathan Abram, another one that kind of flies in the face of that. But at the quarterback position, that's typically how the team handles that. When it comes to the Lucas Patrick situation, though, I think that that's a little bit of a real indication of where the Saints are on their offensive line right now. Lucas Patrick, to me, is the favorite to start at left guard week one. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Nick Saldiveri has been managing injury again. And so he hasn't been able to get out there, even to the point where Dennis Allen, much like Kendre Miller, the first day of practice, mentioned Nick Saldiveri by name as a guy not only jostling for position, not only fighting to start, but as a guy trying to make the roster, he said, but dealing with injury. And so this is another example of a young player, a young asset that's got a lot of talent, but hasn't been able to stay out on the field enough to be able to lock down a role that felt like it was all his once camp started.
He's on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson Nola. You know, it was interesting, Ross, with the Saints adding, the aforementioned Willie Gay and Chase Young. Now they're looking at Justin Simmons. All like big-name defensive players. My thought on this team would have been, if you're going to add big-name talent to supplement, you do it on the offensive side where they've had a lot of issues. In particular, maybe a veteran offensive lineman, a wide receiver. Why do you think maybe they haven't been more aggressive? Or maybe they haven't, we just don't know it, on the offensive side of the ball in free agency.
Yeah, there's a chance that they were aggressive and just didn't, and failed, right? And didn't sign the guys that they were trying to go after and things like that. But even if that's not the case, I do think that the Saints invested in their offensive side by addressing their coaching staff as opposed to addressing their player staff. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that they believed that they were really talented on the roster last year, just didn't have the system to maximize the players and the talent that was on the roster. And so I think that they kind of went through this 2-year process from 2022 into 2023 where they addressed the roster. They went and got the new quarterback. They brought Michael Thomas back. They did all these things on the offensive side, on the roster side. And then that didn't work. And then 2023 going into 2024, they kind of flipped the script and said, okay, comfortable with what the majority of the offensive roster looks like, adding a couple of pieces like Lucas Patrick and Cedric Wilson, maybe settled them a little bit more. But then they made their big wider swath changes on the coaching staff. So that's the way that I kind of look at it, is that they're hoping that the coaching staff changes impact the offensive side of the football the way that they want the offensive side of the football to be impacted, and that the defensive side is adding more talent so that they can maintain what has been the strength of this team probably for at least the last couple of years.
Ross Jackson's out in Irvine. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Of course, subscribe to the Locked On Saints podcast, and you can read his stuff with us at LouisianaSports.net. Be going live soon and looking forward to that. They'll practice tomorrow, off Friday for a travel day, play on Saturday against Arizona. Today, who are the standouts? Who caught your eye today?
Yeah, Jake Haener was a lot of fun to watch in his return. He had missed Monday's practice, getting a procedure done on that. That was a part of a treatment for that skin cancer that he was diagnosed with earlier this offseason. And so he was back today, looked really good, led a touchdown drive in sort of this drive simulation. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry, actually led a good drive on a drive simulation that they did where they were working down and distance kind of scenarios and things like that, and then threw a touchdown in red zone drills to A.T. Perry, who was my other standout of the day. I think A.T. Perry had his best day of camp today. He's had a lot of ups and downs. He's had a lot of drop passes, focus things, kind of slipped and fell at one point, and that created an interception opportunity for another player. Today, he was excellent. Big catches over the middle, big catches in the end zone, big catches in one-on-one, just did it all. So it was really, really good to see that. And then I thought Cedric Wilson, another wide receiver, also had a really strong day today. And that was needed because Mason Tipton, who's been the big standout guy, the undrafted free agent rookie wide receiver out of Yale, who has been the headline of headlines across training camp here so far on the offensive side of the football, left with a hamstring injury. So yet another injury for this team. And so they needed the wide receivers to stand out, and they got some really good production both from A.T. Perry and Cedric Wilson, who are my standouts today.
Last thing, and when we chat tomorrow, we'll sort of preview the game on Saturday maybe and what to watch. But anything or anyone you think maybe has a lot on the line or is worth keeping an eye on Thursday, the final practice before that first preseason game?
That's a great question. Yeah, I would say A.T. Perry's a big guy that's in that conversation. Can he back up and build on another big day? I think Jordan Mims, the young running back, is somebody that's got a lot riding on this Thursday. He's going to get a lot of opportunities on Saturday up against Arizona, but look, he's got to continue to stack the days that he's getting, and so this upcoming Thursday is big. And it's going to be a day that effectively allows the Saints to understand, okay, how much do we want to see Jordan Mims out on the field versus, James Robinson and Jacob Kibodi and things like that, the other running backs in the room. So I think those guys are big. And I would mention one guy that could use a bounce-back day, and it's Rico Payton, undrafted free agent cornerback. He's kind of been victimized a little bit by the quarterbacks here in camp. I'm sure a strong day for him before going into some, big-time lights-on crowd type action would be pretty confidence-boosting for him.
Ross Jackson, get him on Twitter, X at Ross Jackson Nola, Locked On Saints, LouisianaSports.net. I've been out there in Irvine. Doing the Lord's work, Ross, but it's also 101 degrees every day here. So I'm guessing you're doing okay out there?
I'm doing fine. I'm also missing the boil water advisory in New Orleans thanks to the Mylar balloon situation. So I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that either.
Oh, man. Few more days beachside there. Enjoy it. We appreciate the time. We'll talk tomorrow.
Absolutely, buddy. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
All right, that's Ross Jackson. It's After Further Review, brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, First South Farm Credit, because that's what they've helped Louisianians do since 1916. One of the things that I love telling you about with First South Farm Credit as well is the patronage refund. So for the last 29 years, every year for the last 29 years, First South Farm Credit actually writes a check to their borrowers. if you've ever borrowed money, how many lenders have written you a check? Well, at First South Farm Credit, they do that every year, and it effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. They're a cooperative, and they share their profits with their members and their borrowers. So learn more at firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. When Ross is here tomorrow, I'll get a practice report, but I want to talk a lot about what we should expect for that first preseason game. Dennis Allen was asked if they made decisions. Can you play this from Usage number 3? Was asked about decisions on starters for the first preseason game. Here's what he said.
I won't say anything to anybody publicly until I get a chance to talk to the team in terms of what we're going to do. So we'll just keep that under wraps for right now. I've not discussed that at all with our players, and so we'll kind of wait and talk to the players first before we make any sort of an announcement.
Typically, when it comes to starters playing in the preseason, a lot of that is who needs the reps and who needs the opportunity. So when you see a starter, a familiar face in a preseason game, there's a reason for it. So maybe a guy that needs the opportunity. So that could be pretty telling. So we'll find out hopefully on Thursday. All right, it's after further review. We opened the show today with our LSU camp report. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand, either YouTube or podcast. Podcast, search After Further Review. YouTube, the AFR LSU channel. I gave you my full camp report, so check it out there. After practice, we got to talk to LSU offensive coordinator Joe Sloan. And we covered a lot of ground, man, from the tight end room without Mac Markway, the camaraderie in the quarterback room, Brad Davis building that offensive line, what it's been like going against the LSU defense so far here in fall camp. We'll get to as much of that as we can when we come back. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources. They're online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. Of course, we say it all the time that way, complete employer solutions, because at Glow Resources, they work for you, the business owner, not the prospective employee. And time and again, with Glow Resources, their clients rave about the work they do. Megan Fleming is payroll and billing manager for one of their clients who sent this. Said, I want to thank Megan for her outstanding service, precision, and dedication. She's always been very helpful and supportive in a timely manner. Megan is genuine and authentic. Not to mention, she has made our days with her one-of-a-kind sense of humor. Megan, if you see this, you are amazing. Another client testimonial about Megan, who does an awesome job there at Glow Resources. One of the many people that make working with Glow rewarding, fun, and productive. GLO, glowresources.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 988.
On Jalen Hurts, as most people, only because I feel like
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Tigers are back on the practice field, day 6 of fall camp on Wednesday. Afterwards, we had a chance to visit with LSU offensive coordinator Joe Sloan. It was so interesting when Sloan was asked about the team. And he also talked a lot about this offensive staff, which has been they've been great. And like the continuity is part of it, right? Because, yes, you lose Mike Denbrock, but you promote from within, which I understand. Listen, you're taking a shot there. You are. I mean, LSU could have gone and hired the most accomplished offensive coordinator that was available. But they saw a guy within who's been an offensive coordinator, play caller before, who's in an ascending offensive mind in a world where young offensive minds are getting these opportunities. Just think to Lincoln Riley getting that opportunity at Oklahoma, not only to be the OC in his early 30s, then the head coach. I'm not saying that Joe Sloan's going to be LSU's next head coach, but you could tell the trend that Brian Kelly is following here, something he did very similar with Tommy Rees in South Bend. But Sloan talked about that offensive staff.
You know, it starts with really upstairs with the cohesion that we've really developed on offense with our offensive staff. We got a lot of continuity over the last couple of years, and then the guys who have added in, it's been an unbelievable mix. A lot of guys bringing great thought, great ideas, and just bringing so much to the table. And I think that carries over to the players, the time that we have together as an offensive staff and how we interact with each other.
You know, I think it took 3 years, but Brian Kelly has assembled now one of the best staffs in college football. There were some misses when he got hired. We talked about it ad nauseum here, but I think when you look now at the quality they have from Frank Wilson, we all know Frank's legacy here. Cortez Hankton, who you got from Georgia, who's an NFL wide receiver. Joe Sloan, obviously in his role. Slade Nagel coaching tight ends, and then we've talked a ton about the defensive side and what they've done there now as well. It took a while for Brian Kelly to get it right. But I think he's there now. I asked Joe Sloan about the tight end room with the news that Mac Markway is entering the transfer portal. And the way that I sort of framed it was you're replacing that skill set. Because when you look at Mason Taylor, you've got a very complete player. A guy that is, on a lot of people's lists, either the best or second best projected tight end in college football this year. He's one of the top. But after that, with Kamorian Pimpton and Trey'Dez Green, you're talking about guys that are not traditional tight ends. And Brian Kelly likes a traditional tight end. He wants a guy that can put his hand in the dirt and block, and then also is athletic in the pitch and catch game. Well, Pimpton and Trey'Dez Green are not guys that you're going to really think of as attached tight ends that are going to put their hands in the dirt and the block. I will say, we did see 21 personnel today, 2 tight ends, 1 back. And it was interesting because Kamorian Pimpton was the sort of attached tight end and Mason Taylor flexed out. I think they're going to try a lot of those different looks now with some of those changes. But here's what Joe Sloan had to say about this tight end room without Mac Markway.
We have an unbelievable group in that room. Coach Nagel's doing a great job with those guys. The improvement that Mason Taylor's made going in from his second year to his third year this offseason and watching his progression in his route running, really doing an unbelievable job with his base. And then as you watch the growth of Kamarion Pimpton and the growth of Trey'Dez Green already, and we got other guys in that room, right? Giovanni Peterson, who's been on this program now for a couple years and just continuing to work with our process and get better and make improvements. That group is one of the most exciting groups on our football team. I can't say enough about where we're going with that room and how those guys are working together, how they're pushing each other. And we've seen a lot of growth in the first 6 practices. I expect to see the same thing over the next several.
I'm glad he brought up Giovanni Peterson without me having to mention the name. And I tell you this oftentimes. Sometimes I'll ask a question and you leave it open-ended because if a coach brings something up unprovoked, that's what's in their mind. So the fact that Sloan mentioned Peterson is really interesting. By the way, Peterson was out there taking reps the first day of practice. I mean, and he's been out there. He's a personal protector on the punt team. So he's a guy that's been around the program now for 3 years that they like a lot. He's just buried on the depth chart behind a lot of really talented scholarship players. Well, think back to Brian Kelly's first year. Who was the guy when they were looking for bodies? Remember that they brought as a big-bodied attached tight end? Well, it was Nick Storrs. Remember the baseball pitcher who they brought over? I mean, you could always use an extra offensive lineman as a sixth blocker, but then you're predictable by personnel. Storrs was there last year. I'm blanking on his name now, but they brought a kid in from JUCO who was going to be just another offensive tackle who they were going to use as a tight end and grow. But I'm blanking on his name right now. Do you know? Look up the roster from last year, please. I think he wore number 89. I'm blanking on the name. But anyway, they've always Connor Gilbreth. Thank you. That was it. It was Connor Gilbreth. So I guess my point is 2 years of Brian Kelly. You saw it with Storrs, then Gilbreth. It wouldn't be that far-fetched to think Giovanni Peterson could have a role as a blocking tight end on this team if you need that skill set. Something that we know undeniable is LSU's got great receivers. If you missed it today, the Biletnikoff Award watch list was released, and C.J. Daniels was on the Biletnikoff watch list. Stunning, quite honestly, and a huge miss that Kyron Lacy was not on the list because Kyron Lacy is the number one wide receiver on this team, is the next guy to step up. But Daniels was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago at Liberty and is maybe the number 3 on this team right now. Talented guy, and I think going to have a fantastic season. But what's really interesting is the room beyond those 3 that you know are there. And Sloan talked about his pass catchers.
The level from maybe guys that you haven't talked about, you see elevating. When I look at Aaron Anderson and Kyle Parker and the way that they're elevating throughout camp, Shelton Sampson showed a lot of growth at some of his different opportunities. And, we've talked about Xavier and we talked about all those different guys, but I think there's more than just those 3 who have been doing and flashing in different ways. I'm really excited about, our couple young guys and where they can go. But Kyron, Chris, and CJ played a lot of football, and I think they're definitely showing it, and what they've done is when they have an opportunity to make plays, we've tried to put them in position to do that. And when they've had that opportunity, I think you've seen all 3 of them kind of rise to the occasion.
Kylan Billiot had 2. Speaking of the receivers aside from those top 3, Kylan Billiot had 2 great catches today. One off a tip pass off of Jair Brown. Javen Nicholas had a contested TD catch today. You just look up and down. Every day it's somebody else making plays in that wide receiver room. It really is going to be interesting to see how you feed so many mouths in that receiver room because they are very deep and very talented. 2 more things from Sloan. One is about Nussmeier and his relationship there with Garrett Nussmeier, who obviously hasn't played a ton, but is a guy that's been around for a long time and is a bit of an outlier in college football.
honesty and straightforwardness is the best way, right? And that's what we're always going to do within this program. Coaching's about relationships and trust. And Garrett and my conversation back and forth, and Coach Kelly's conversation with him, and throughout our organization, we're honest with where he was, excited about the talent and potential that he has and who he is as a player. And I'm assuming he felt himself getting better, right? And he said, I'm getting better, and I got an opportunity. I think you've heard it. I think this place means a lot to him. His teammates mean a lot to him, and that was important to him. So I'm proud of him for that fact, and proud of how he's worked, and I'm excited for him.
Sloan also talked about new 2-minute warning, how Brian Kelly's got processes in place for that. The new helmet comm, where Sloan will be calling plays on the headset into Garrett Nussmeier's helmet. They've got a plan in place for if the comm goes down, like they'll do. All right, comm went down, next 4 plays, we're calling them old school, but Garrett's been here for so long, that's just very easy and natural transition. So it's one of those things under Brian Kelly where he really is, we've talked about it a lot since he's been here, but he's so detail-oriented that all of the things that may feel like minutia, everything is considered and there's a plan for it. I mean, it's one of the reasons that for 33 years, he's been a successful head coach everywhere. I mean, he's won everywhere because he knows how to build a program. For him, it's really just how do you get over that final hurdle to be the team that wins the last game and holds up the trophy. Of course, you got to keep building the roster to get there. And the last thing from Sloan, remember, of course, a year ago, LSU was the best offense in the scoring and total offense in the country. But you lose Jaden Daniels. And Jaden was your leading rusher with 1,100 yards. So conceptually, you're going to be very different running the football. I love this answer. Joe Sloan was asked, did you add to the playbook with a new running game? Because obviously Nussmeier isn't going to run for 1,100 yards. Listen to how he answered it.
Our playbook has been big since we got here. We can call every play. If you see a play on TV, we could have called it. You know what I mean? In our terminology, right? So our offense had a lot of ability to adjust to what we wanted to do. We had done some of those things in the past, but maybe within game, right? What some of you guys may have seen, hey, you felt like we were leaning more towards 1 or 2 schemes or whatever that might have been. So no, we had a lot of those things. Everything is about creating the package that fits us. And, and then we'll attack the defenses that we're going to see, in different kind of ways, right? Obviously, we're going to be able to do whatever we need to do to attack the defense, but yet allow our players to understand what we're doing.
If you see a play on TV, we can call it. That's pretty reassuring. But I think the big question for Joe, being a play call, he's called plays before, he called plays at Tech, but this will be his first time calling plays at LSU. How much comfort and rhythm does he get into as a play caller? That'll be interesting to see, and that we'll only know whenever they tee it up and kick it off against USC coming up here in a little more than 3 weeks. All right, it's After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Trivia tonight. We'll do some Pluckers trivia when we come back. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Of course, they got full greenhouses, but the really exciting things that even though it's 100 degrees outside, y'all, it's August. We're getting closer to fall, which means it's time to start planting your fall vegetable garden. And Clegg's has new shipments of fall vegetable plants, new shipments of Johnny Naylor seeds. I mean, nothing beats fresh, homegrown flavor from your garden. They're going to start getting new bedding plants in, some of those ornamental peppers and the things that look great, those earth tones that look great in the garden in the fall. Also, remember, hunters, they've got Buckbuster fall seed mix already. It's time to get those fall plots out right now. Mobucks will be coming in later this week. Deer corn probably still a couple weeks out, but they've already got Buckbusters, so you can get on by and see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Performing is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are looking for the ultimate tailgate. Snap a pic of your setup and upload it to 1045ESPN.com for a chance to win a $500 Rouse's gift card. Our judges will select a winner on August 29th. It's the ultimate tailgate giveaway from Rouse's Market, Citizens Bank and Trust, and 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, Wednesday, which means Pluckers Trivia, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Muse, hit it.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia, every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
All right, Muse. Last week, T-Bob had to save the day with his Harry Potter trivia.
He nailed it, too. It was actually impressive.
It was really impressive. If I cared or knew anything about Harry Potter, it would have been awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Never got sample questions this week, so I don't know the round.
Means an automatic 3-0 there for your boy.
That would mean 0-3 for you.
No.
Or I could just look up other questions for you.
Oh, Lord. All right. But we don't know the round at Pluckers tonight.
Correct. I don't know the theme.
Could just be general.
Might just be general. Might just be. Okay. All right, Muse, here we go. Number one, what year? I just Googled trivia questions.
Okay.
Just general knowledge. What year was the Emancipation Proclamation issued?
1860. 1863?
You saw the answer on the screen.
No, I didn't.
You're a liar. I don't believe you at all. I don't believe you at all. Not one iota.
I have a minor in history.
Don't believe you at all.
Well, that's your fault.
You're a cheater.
Not a cheater. Hand to God. Not a cheater. Did not see the answer.
You could lie to God.
You shouldn't do that.
You could.
I wouldn't.
I believe you would.
No.
All right, Muse, how many colors are in the rainbow?
Roy G. Biv. Roy G. 5? No, wait. No. 6.
You want to try again?
It's not 6. I counted wrong.
Roy G. Biv.
7.
Give yourself a buzzer.
Yeah.
See, I think you saw that one, too.
I I would have got it right if I saw it.
I think you went Slumdog Millionaire, where you knew the answer because the guy told him the answer in the bathroom and then guessed wrong so he would lose.
No, that's not what I did.
But the guy was trying to trick him, and so he actually, in guessing wrong, guessed right.
That's stupid.
I think that's what you just
If you're
did.
going to cheat, you go all in. Like, yeah, why would you ever act like you're going to lose? That's dumb. Keep that in mind, kids. If you cheat, cheat.
All right, Muse.
All right.
What is the largest reptile in the world?
I'm gonna go with the Komodo dragon.
Oh, that's a terrible guess.
It's not a terrible guess. It's a giant lizard.
No, it's a giant lizard, but it's not actually a giant animal relative to other reptiles. The answer is the crocodile, the saltwater crocodile.
Really?
Exact. Yes.
That's interesting.
But a Komodo dragon isn't actually that giant.
They're huge. What are you talking about?
It's bigger than a lizard, but not all
I
that.
mean,
tiny.
there's an iguana is a big lizard, but it's not a Komodo dragon.
Right. The Komodo dragon is large compared to a lizard or an iguana, but not a crocodile.
That thing's huge, dude. 200 pounds.
How big is a crocodile?
Saltwater crocodile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Saltwater crocodile. Okay. Yeah. 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't know that. Brother, that's incredible. There was one 23 feet, 220 pounds. 2,200 pounds.
Yeah, 2,200 pounds.
What? No thanks. Good on that.
You want one more?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
How many bones are in the human body?
Oh, God, I don't know that.
What galaxy do we live in?
The Milky Way.
What are the five senses?
Taste, touch, smell. What do they call hearing? Sight?
What do they call hearing?
Well, I don't know. Auditory? Like, I don't know.
What do they call hearing? It's so good.
What is it on there?
Hearing,
oh,
yes.
Is it hearing? Okay.
What are you talking about? Have you lost your hearing?
Well,
Yeah,
you could
hearing.
say
What are you
vision,
talking
but it's
about?
called sight. Vision, sight. I didn't know if they had another name for it.
Oh, man.
Your auditory ability.
Woo! Oh, God, that's so good. Who gave the U.S. the Statue of Liberty?
France.
Very good. How fast can cheetahs run?
I actually saw a cheetah run at the San Diego Zoo. It was incredible.
That is kind of incredible.
It was actually awesome.
Was it a large exhibit, like a field?
Yeah, basically. So it was like an annex to the San Diego Zoo, like where they had a lot of like exotic animals, and they just had a runway, and they released like this fake rabbit or whatever and turned the cheetah loose.
Wow.
Bro, it was sick.
Gone.
I actually don't know their top end speed though. 70 miles an hour?
75 would be the answer. Who's the lead singer of the band Cowboy Mouth?
Oh, no. I don't know, but he's going to be on the show tomorrow.
So disappointed in you.
You got to quit being disappointed in me with 90s things like that. I was really young.
I know. All right, that's Plucker's Trivia. I have a follow-up on the Cowboy Mouth thing here in a brief moment. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. Was at my house last night. Some friends in from California. We were visiting, and one of my friends was like starting to struggle to see nearsighted and was going to need readers, and said, you should go to Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. And then it became this whole conversation about the value of refractive procedure and should you do it, and like, does LASIK wear off and all that stuff. And the point that I made, and this is just how I'm going to approach the rest of my life from a vision perspective, is that no matter your age or refractive issue, there's a procedure that can help you see without contacts or glasses forever. There's the misconception is, oh, LASIK wears off. No, it doesn't. LASIK is a procedure that changes the shape of your eye, so that prescription never changes. What does happen is you continue to age, and other parts of your eye can age, which can cause you to be nearsighted, or farsighted, right, where you would need readers or something like that. Well, there's a procedure for that as well. So instead of squinting or wearing contacts for the next 10, 15, 20 years of my life, whatever it be, until I needed readers, my eyes, adjusted, I had LASIK, and now I see perfect. And when the day comes many years from now where I may need readers because I have an aging part of my eye, then I'll have that procedure done. I mean, in the world of ophthalmology, there's always something that can be done to where you can see perfect without contacts or glasses. And that's what I'm going to choose to do. I'll never wear contacts or glasses again as long as I live. Thanks to Dr. Blake Williamson, the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. So there's two things that we had to discuss with you today that happened. One is a beautiful French Olympian whose name is Alice Finot, F-I-N-O-T. Muse, please check me. I don't even think she won a medal. She broke the European record in women's 3,000-meter walking, but I think she I'm looking at this. I think she finished fourth. Like, here's her by the little.
Finished fourth and broke the world record?
The European record.
The European record.
Sorry. So she's French, but here she is. Look, next to the sign.
Yeah, she finished fourth.
So she did.
But was it the final? It might not have been the final for it. It could have been like a.
I don't think they go do a 3,000-meter walk multiple times. I don't think it's heats like in. I don't know. Anyway, but she didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, she did not medal.
Okay.
This says it was the steeplechase, but anyway, she did not medal.
It was the 3,000-meter. Maybe she. Whatever.
She didn't medal. She broke the European record, didn't medal. After
the race, she goes up to her boyfriend in the stands, and she proposes to him. So remember now, she is an Olympian who just broke a European record. She's a beautiful woman, and she is proposing to her boyfriend at the Olympics. I need some feedback. How do we feel about this? Good on her. She's assertive, awesome, beautiful woman, Olympian, all that stuff. I'm more looking at him, guy, like, hey, what's wrong with you, guy? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that. Email me, tweet me, or text me, 225-396-4400. This is one where we should have used the speak up function on the app to get people to give us some feedback there.
That would have been good.
Yeah, I need to think of that more often or be more heady on that. So go to our app. Download the 104.5 ESPN app. Homepage, there's a little microphone at the bottom. Tap that. You can record a voice message. Let me know your thoughts. We'll save them and play the best ones tomorrow. That's one. Two, I told Muse we have Fred LeBlanc on the show tomorrow, who's the lead singer of Cowboy Mouth. And Muse didn't know who Cowboy Mouth was. And I'm very, very sad by that. Because Cowboy Mouth is a Louisiana music institution, still jamming 30-plus years after their formation. Are You With Me? One of the best albums of the 90s for me. Seen Cowboy Mouth endless times in concert. Fred LeBlanc is nothing but maniacal energy. Lead singer, also the drummer, and plays barefoot. I mean, I saw him jump off the stage at the Varsity barefoot and walk through the crowd. Incredible. And Fred LeBlanc is going to be here tomorrow because Cowboy Mouth's playing the Eagle 98.1 90s show Friday at Texas Club in Baton Rouge. So we're fired up about that. And I'm going to talk to Fred LeBlanc because, of course, I'm going to talk to Fred LeBlanc. So we'll do that tomorrow. But Muse had no idea who they are. You know the song Jenny Says?
Not by the name.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break, come back. When we come out of the break, we're going to bump into the final segment with Jenny Says.
With Jenny Says.
Okay, do that. All right, it's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 3 decades. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon and his team have offices all over the state of Louisiana. So no matter where you are, Gordon can help. Go to getgordon.com or call 888-8888. That's 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Remember, yes, it's car wreck. It's big truck wrecks as well, but so much more than that. Personal injury, offshore or maritime accidents, workers' comp cases, wrongful death, Louisiana slip and fall, lawyers, Social Security and disability. If it's issues with maybe a plant accident or motorcycle accident, industrial immigration, they do it all over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney. So go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Muse. I'm not even going to be mad at you. I'm not going to criticize or chastise or make fun. Well, you're telling me you've never heard this song ever.
I've never heard this song.
All right, crank it up. Crank it up.
It's good. I like it.
All right, Muse. I'm just going to take this moment to introduce you to Cowboy Mouth.
There we go.
And I'm going to challenge you. And if you don't want to, I'll go dig up my old CD.
Well, don't do that. I don't have anything to play that on.
You can put it in a computer or something. And listen to the album, Are You With Me? And you need to get to know Cowboy Mouth. Because for the rest of your life, when you go to jazz, they play Jazz Fest every year.
Okay.
There's festivals. Cowboy Mouth is always in the Louisiana music scene. And you just have to know them in the same way that you had to know Chubby Checkers and Irma Thomas and so many great Louisiana musicians that play Jazz Fest forever. You just got to know them. You got to know this band. I'm doing you a favor, a generational favor. You have to know you have to know Cowboy Mouth. So I'm glad that this is going to be the moment that I get to introduce you to Cowboy Mouth.
Here we go.
And you need to make sure all your friends know about him, too.
Okay.
There's your assignment. Go listen to Cowboy Mouth tonight, and I want a full report tomorrow. Written, 12-point font, double-spaced, a single-spaced.
That's not going to happen.
Single-spaced Muse.
That's not going to
All right, Otterlocks, hit it.
Otterlocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Otter, how are you?
Moose, bad trip rock drummer, Fred, branched off and did his own thing in Cowboy Mouth.
I tell you, man. Fred is going to be on the show tomorrow because Cowboy Mouth is playing Michelle Southern's Eagle 98.1 90 show Friday at Texas Club. So, going to be awesome. And so we're going to have Fred on the show tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. Like, a chance to talk to Fred LeBlanc? Hell yeah, I'm doing that. Of course I will.
Absolutely. Good job.
I know.
Good job.
I know.
Good job.
I know.
White Sox streak is over. Who had won? They lost today. So.
Well, we won last night. I mean, I'm fired up. I actually put my money on I was a hell of a call, Otter. I mean, plus 170 we hit. The Cardinals hit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of split out a little bit, made a little juice money. But
lost with the Orioles and the Royals, though.
Yes.
The 2-2.
Yes.
It's all right. I'll tell you.
The two Cy Young leaders are on the bump tonight, both leagues. Chris Sale on the bump for the against the Milwaukee Brewers for the Atlanta Braves. The straw poll has him out in front of Zach Wheeler of this MLB.com.
1 minute remaining.
Straw poll. Skeen's fifth right now.
Yeah.
My goodness. Anyway, but the other one, Tariq Skubal, he's got 33 and 35 first place votes in the American League. He is plus money tonight at Seattle, all over Tariq Skubal in the Detroit Tigers in that one. And then one more out in Coors Field later this evening as well. Mets lose last night, but they're going to bounce back tonight. Lay the runs on the road, minus the 1.5 run.
All right, so we're going Detroit money line, Mets on the run line. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Tomorrow we will be at the original walk-on, cheering on France plus the 5.
Oh, is that an official play?
Yeah.
All right, France plus the 5 tomorrow. All right, Otter, thanks. Have a great night.
Au revoir.
So good. All right, that'll do it for us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Muse, Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Get on down the road. Remind you about Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. If you have issues with your roof, commercial or residential, we'd love to help you out. Do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Ryan Terrio, Richard Tilley, Joe Morales, Trent Davis, our great team. We've got insurance experts on staff. Linda, who's in our office, awesome former insurance adjuster, so she's worked from that side of it. So she's on our staff to help you make sure you get your claim approved. We got the team, the people all over the state of Louisiana to make sure that we get your claim approved, we get your roof repaired or replaced, and get you on with your life. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Remember, we also have our maintenance program, $25 a month. It gives you 6-month inspections with drone footage, full inspection report, debris cleanage, front-of-the-line service as well when you have emergencies. Ask about it. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.